10 years ago, I said yes to a feeling I couldn't fully explain. Once again, many people did not believe that it was possible. Once again, I was trying to start a music school, not being an educator, not being a musician. And so I had a lot of naysayers, and I literally could have just listened to that negative, that's chatter, and all the people that did not believe in me. But I decided to take ownership in myself, and I believed so much in the mission and so much in myself. That's what carried me forward. That's what got me out of bed. That's what got me to say yes to all the challenges, all the struggles, and everything that came with starting a business. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Jenny Townsend, your host. This podcast is for doers, dreamers, and those trying to decide what's next. I, along with amazing guests, will be sharing stories of success, failure, and what's to come. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Townsend, and this is one of my quickies. If you're new to the podcast, I will be dropping a few quickie episodes, which consist of one concept, and they're typically between 15 and 20 minutes, and sometimes it may be 25. But I want to say thanks for tuning in. This is going to be one of those quickie episodes. Today's episode is all about the journey. It's personal, it's reflective, and it's a celebration. This year marks 10 years of Music Compound, 10 years of dreaming, 10 years of building, 10 years of showing up, even when it was hard, and it was super hard. What we celebrated recently wasn't just a party. It was a milestone. It was a community. It was people. It was a moment to honor the mission and the grit that it took to get here. 10 years doesn't happen overnight, as we all know, and it doesn't happen without moments that stretch you. Moments that test your patience and your confidence. Moments where you quietly wonder if you're cut out for this. There were seasons where I questioned everything. Moments where I didn't feel qualified. I wanted to quit. Times when the dream felt bigger than me. I didn't always feel brave, but I did keep going. 10 years ago, I didn't have everything figured out. I had a vision. I had a feeling. I knew I was going to be successful. I had belief that Music Compound could not only change my life, but it could change others. There were definitely moments of doubt. I was definitely scared. There was moments of exhaustion. There was moments where quitting would have been the easiest thing to do. What carried me forward was the focus and the passion, the determination, and the decision to keep going, even when the path wasn't clear. It went all over the place. That's what grit really is. Never struggling, but choosing to continue anyway. The celebration wasn't about me. It was about our entire community of people, which is phenomenal. The students who found confidence, the parents who trusted us, the adults who gave themselves permission to learn again, the team members who believed in the mission and showed up with heart. It was truly amazing to see the parents hanging out on the dance floor with all their kids. It was cool for all. Music Compound became more than a school. It became a community, a place where people of all ages feel seen, supported, and inspired to try. Success is measured in impact, and we have succeeded, and I'm very proud and grateful of that. I want to encourage you to get my book, The Stroke It Guide, available on Amazon and my website. The book is what you need to know from the boardroom to the bedroom. It talks about how to stroke yourself, your spouse, your partner, your friends, your family, most importantly, your employer, employees, and of course, there's a chapter just for the bedroom. Go to Amazon today and get my book, The Stroke It Guide. I know some of you may be listening and questioning what season of life you're in. You may be asking, what's my passion? What's my next chapter? Why don't I feel clear about it? There is a Japanese philosophy called the Ikigai, which is really hard to pronounce at times, but it's your reason for being. It lives out the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. But here's the part. People don't always talk about it. You don't always find a passion. You often build it through action, through curiosity, through saying yes before you feel ready. Clarity doesn't come first. Movement does. Sometimes your next chapter doesn't come from planning. It comes from an obstacle, crisis, or pivotal moment. There was a season in my life where I was unemployable. Honestly, I was told that by a recruiter. I didn't have the skills, a BA that I needed to get hired. I couldn't type fast enough was something they told me. I didn't fit in to the box that I needed. I didn't align with the traditional path. Instead of feeling confident, I actually felt uncertain, displaced, and stuck. That season could have stopped me. but instead it became information, valuable information. Because when one door closes, you start paying attention differently. During that time, I began to noticing what my community needed. I noticed the gaps that weren't filled. I noticed how music created calm, confidence, and connection. And instead of trying to force myself into something that didn't fit, I allowed myself to build something new that all people thought would fail. Something soothing, something creative, something rooted in service and belonging. This is where philosophy and real life met. Purpose doesn't always arrive fully formed. Sometimes it's revealed through disruption. Your passion doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers during hard seasons. The obstacle didn't mean I was failing. It meant I was being redirected. Music Compound wasn't born with certainty. It was born from listening, observing, and choosing to turn this challenge into a contribution. If there's one thing I hope you take from this episode, it's this. You don't need an entire life mapped out. You don't need much. You just need the courage to take the next step. Your passion may unfold slowly. Your path may shift. Definitely will. Your purpose may evolve. And none of that means you're behind. 10 years ago, I said yes to a feeling I couldn't fully explain. Once again, many people did not believe that it was possible. Once again, I was trying to start a music school, not being an educator, not being a musician. And so I had a lot of naysayers, and I literally could have just listened to that negative, that's chatter, and all the people that did not believe in me. But I decided to take ownership in myself, and I believed so much in the mission and so much in myself. That's what carried me forward. That's what got me out of bed. That's what got me to say yes to all the challenges, all the struggles, and everything that came with starting a business. I had never started a business before. I worked for my dad, who owned a window cleaning company. I had tons of sales jobs. I mean, I had the skills to start my own business, but at the same time, it was still really, really scary. If you're thinking about starting something or you do have a passion, go for it. Listen to your inside voice. I want to encourage you to take that leap of faith, own your story, believe in yourself, and take ownership of your life. If I didn't create this business plan and then actually execute and launch it, I would still be selling beneficial bacteria or selling wedding dresses. Who knows what I would be doing? I wouldn't have the role of a CEO at a $1 million music school led by me and a phenomenal team where we're making huge impacts. The legacy that we have created is absolutely amazing. I literally had people coming up to me crying at this event on how grateful they are to have Music Compound, how it's created a connection with their granddaughter, how it's created a place where their kid doesn't want to move back up north. I mean, there's so much greatness that came out of this, and it all came out of an obstacle. When I was unemployable, I had to find a way to survive. So if you are feeling that same way, I want you to lean into what your Ikigai is. Figure out what your passion is. How can you make that your work? And do it. So many of us and others have literally struggled. They literally are going to a job that they hate to pay bills, and they're going to do that for who knows how long. Why would you do that? Life is so short. Take ownership today, this year. If you need more inspiration, I mean, there's so many resources. There's so many books out there. One of the books that I most recently read, and I did a podcast about it most recently, is Jim Rohn's Seasons of Life. We all go through different seasons, and every season serves a purpose. I'm going to be recording another podcast about the grind season and the planting season, how impactful that is. So if you could start planting seeds for something that you want to do in the future, do it today. You can download the business canvas. You can reach out to free mentors. You can reach out to me. Start talking to people about this idea that you have. That's how you're going to find out, is there a need for it? Has someone already done that? Is there a way to improve what they're doing? You don't always have to be first to market. You just got to do it better. I mean, music lessons have been happening for who knows how long. How many other music schools are in the area? Yeah, that was scary, but I knew I could do it better. I knew I could create a better community and just so much more. So anyways, and don't forget to celebrate. Celebrate the wins, the milestones, the steps in the journey. So much of our time we get caught up and just going with the plan and moving forward and hitting this sales number and making that sale. that we forget about the impact. We forget about the people. So I want to remind you to do that because I didn't do that for many, many years. And I lost track of why we were doing it. And that why is so important. So I just want to encourage you to take and launch your dream business if now is the time. Celebrate the milestones. Be grateful for who you have in your life. Remember to stay humble as well. I want to just encourage you to take the risk that I did because you will be so amazed, surprised, and happy that you did. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Hope that was encouraging to you. Once again, Jim Rohn's Seasons of Life is a great book. Get that. And if you haven't got my book, make sure to get that. You can get that on Amazon. It can ship to your house next day. Thanks for tuning in. And if you felt this episode was awesome, or if you felt like it would be beneficial for someone, send it to 5 people. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in to today's podcast. I want to inspire you to send this podcast to 5 of your friends that you think would benefit.